Hello, YouTube. Got a 1985 Kawasaki 340cc here out of a club cart, golf cart. 1985, I want to say. And it's been a project. Little backstory. Don't mind my bench. It's dirty. I've been working, of course. But anyway, little backstory on it. I bought the cart for $50. Motor was tore down. Picked it up. You know, a guy was selling it as a parts cart. And I couldn't pass up the deal. These little motors, they run forever. And anyways, so I needed the, it had a broken valve. It broke a valve. Here, I'll show you the head. Oh, you can see where the valve broke and sent it right to the head. And broke the valve stem. But anyway, the guy couldn't find valves for it. Honestly, valves ain't that hard to find. But the problem is when I laid out all the parts, the valve retainers were gone. So I looked and looked and looked, and I just could not find a set of valve retainers. So I ended up having to buy a new jug and a new head off eBay. And your valves are actually behind this here. This is your pulsator for your fuel pump. And anyway, which, you know, and honestly, I'm not sure if that goes to the fuel pump or not, but that does pulsate. Releases your crankcase pressure. But anyways, so I bought a new cylinder head for it. Cylinder and head. It was already together. It had never been split here. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool, you know, because that saved me $50 not having to buy a head gasket. And base gasket's only like $10. So I'm like, all right, you know, that saves me $50, you know. I mean, after you add that in to what I paid for the setup, you can't beat it. Well, anyways, so I got it all together, and come to find out I'm missing the clutch bolt. You gotta love that, but not a big deal. We'll get a clutch bolt. It is gonna stall me for tonight, but anyway, so I was just getting ready to walk in the house, and I said, well, I'm gonna put the spark plug in. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a problem with that. And that's the problem. The spark plug hole is moved over on this cylinder head. Compared to this one, here I'll set the original one on top. And as you can see, it lines right up with the hole in my cover. So if you do get a different top end setup like I did, or if you need a new head and you're replacing the head, you know, some people really restore these things. I'm not going all out on it. I'm just gonna notch this out here, and it should run just fine. But I want to let people know, because that's kind of a big deal. I mean, if I was gonna restore this cart, you know, and honestly, this is just all a mock-up. I'm gonna take these covers off and I'm gonna paint them. You know, it looks like somebody already tried to paint them, or the factory paint's coming off, whichever. I'm gonna clean them up, paint them. That way it looks presentable. Anyway, that's crazy. I would have never thought I would have ran into that problem. All the mounting stuff is the same for the covers, you know, and you got to have these covers on here because that's what helps keep the motor cool. You know, all it's got to cool is the fins off the flywheel. So anyway, I wanted to show people that because that kind of blew my mind. I mean, it's gonna work fine. I'm not worried about that. But I got to cut my cover, you know. It's not something I really wanted to do, but here I am. I'm the one that run into it. I'm not gonna spend $50, pop this head off, and put my other one on. You know, I mean, this one here's got little, you know, valves ran into it. I don't want to use that head. So I'm just gonna notch that out and run it, but I figured I'd let everybody know there is 2 different style heads out there. It's kind of crazy, really. Another thing is you guys get to take a look at this motor here. And that there, I believe that's where the coil mounts, over there. But right here. But anyways, yeah, it was like a puzzle, you know, putting it together and trying to figure out where exactly the cover sat and went and how they went on. And this bracket here, I'm still not even sure what that's for yet. But a lot of little stuff like that. And then this here, this one on top, this is going to go to your carburetor. And then this little hole down here, there's going to be a big rod coming off the transmission for that. That's your governor setup. But, and again, don't mind the bench. It's pretty messy. I've been rebuilding a couple motors lately here. So, all right, YouTube. Well, you guys have a good night. And if you have any questions or anything, just shoot them down in the comments. I mean, I've been through the whole motor, and I mean, these things are stout. They run forever for a reason. Definitely a good motor. If you got one, it's definitely worth doing the rebuild on one. But alrighty, have a good night, you guys.